Hi, I'm Kevin from Q. This is the Honey Badger. So about 6 years ago, maybe, when I still owned Advanced Armament, a group came to us within SOCOM and wanted a replacement for the MP5 SD. And that's what this is.
That's Kevin, founder of Q and AAC. He joins us live to talk about what's going on at Q. What's going on, Kevin?
What's up? Not a lot. Just trying to build products the right way.
Hey, man.
I'm a man of the people.
Hey. Now you're speaking my language. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
So I'm the ultimate consumer, as I like to call myself in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But so you started your first business at 19.
I did, yeah, in college when I thought I was going to go to law school. You know how that goes. And
yeah, I actually made the dumb decision to actually do it. So there's that.
So I did it. 19. I shot an MP5 SD for the first time. First time I'd ever shot a machine gun. First time I'd ever shot a silencer.
Hold on. That was the first gun you ever shot, or just first machine gun with a silencer?
First machine gun and silencer.
Okay.
About 19, I had an AR-15 and I had a Glock 19 and a Ruger Mark II pistol.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And so what was that first company?
It was Advanced Armament.
Oh, so Advanced Armament was the actual first company that you started?
It was. The name changed in 1997 maybe, but that was the first company.
Okay. So from what I understand, you shot the MP5 for the very first time, and that pretty much served, that was the catalyst for you really kind of looking at silencers as the route that you wanted to go. What was it? Because I talk to people all the time about my first shooting experience, and for me, it was something. It was rather incredible. And I usually say love at first shot really was love at second shot. The first shot was terrifying as hell, and then then when I realized I was still alive after the first shot, then the second shot, my mind, I'd calmed down enough to really appreciate what was happening. So what happened that day when you shot that MP5 that made you want to start down the road of building AAC?
Well, I mean, I think the first time, I was interested in guns for a few reasons. I think some of it was rebellion with my family and stuff. They weren't into guns. I wasn't raised around them. Just typical, that kind of stuff. And I was with some guys that had MP5 SDs as a duty weapon. And they offered for me to shoot it. I'd never shot a gun with a silencer. And I was shocked. We were shooting at these still targets at about 75 meters.
Yeah.
And I thought the bullet stuck in the barrel. And then I heard ding. And I never thought it would be my job.
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be a way to earn side money. Because, I was raised by factory workers and kind of you work your butt off during the week. The weekend you get to do what you want. And I wanted weekend money. And I thought and to me it was all military related. Every soldier should have a silencer, and it's an injustice for them not to have silencers. What an advantage it would be. And that's the day, I remember the temperature, I remember everything. It was one of those moments where I knew that's what I was going to do.
It's freaking awesome. It's weird because I can relate to it in many ways. Now I didn't have the visual projection of saying, this is where I'm going to end up. However, there was something there I couldn't really shake that I knew this is always and forever going to be a part of my life, in some sense or form. And so how did you approach it starting out?
Well, in high school and in college, worked at my local gun store part-time, met a guy who had a Class 3 license, because I didn't even realize at the time civilians could own Class 3 stuff, machine guns, all silencers, everything. And started working with him. Just started doing it part-time. Back then, it was right after the 86 ban. So, within 10 years, I guess. So machine guns were still readily available. The internet was brand new. Mm-hmm. So I started buying and selling machine guns, making money. And then I was a distributor for Gemtech, was a big company at the time, and AWC was big commercially. And so I started pimping silencers that way. Met an engineer. We started designing stuff and just kind of started from there. Okay. And it's just been a quest ever since. I mean, it's so funny. When I sold Advanced Armament, and I did it for money, and industry wise, I felt like it needed to be a big silencer or a big gun company needed to own a silencer company to kind of make them legitimate. Because, back then the NRA, there was no you. It was a bunch of old white duck hunters. And they wouldn't even get this.
That is
what?
No, my producer's laughing.
Well, it's true. Okay, so get this. At the Charlotte show in like 2000,
yeah.
the NRA refunded my money and wouldn't let me set up at the show because they didn't want silencers to be on the news.
Gotcha.
So, it's changed a lot,
yeah.
which I'm so happy. When I started the American Silencer Association, man, the NRA jumped on it right away, and it got silencers legalized in so many states. All I do is hunt now, and I can hunt in every state with silencers for the most part. It's wonderful. And so I really applaud the NRA now.
Yeah.
Had some hard feelings back in the day, but it's been, the industry's really evolved. I mean, when I was a kid working in a gun store, it was all the same customer.
Yeah.
It was a 45-year-old white dude with a blue collar job. That was our customer, period. And now I met Shaquille O'Neal in my local gun store the other day.
What do you think is the biggest? What do you think at that time was the biggest driver of that? What was facilitating the kind of real myopic kind of representation of the gun community in that sense?
I don't really know. I don't know that I put a lot of thought into it. I'm just so happy to see it be so diverse.
Yeah.
To see women involved, to see like every race, every age in my gun store, in my local shooting range. I just love it. And to me, I'm different than like the average gun guy.
Yeah.
I'm not into it that way. I'm into it. I love the innovation. I love designing. I love evolving the technology. But, it's just so many faux pas, people. I grew up in the South, so it was different than other places. But, it was just kind of like rednecks had guns and, people in the city didn't. I don't.
The funny thing was, because I wasn't really into guns before I shot, when I started really getting into the culture, that's what I was hearing a lot of that, that, oh man, no one's going to accept a black dude talking about guns. No one's going to care about your gun reviews. It's just a bunch of old white racist people. I don't know what it was. Something about me was like, I don't care. It was something that I was passionate about, and I just went ahead and kept doing it. There were elements to it in the beginning that I saw that fell in that line, but largely, there was a pretty heavy acceptance of what I was doing. Of course, like I said, there were your kind of one-offs and people on the side, on the fringe of it, friends of the group who were kind of like, oh, what do you want? What are you doing here with this nonsense? But in large part, I feel like maybe I walked into situations expecting it and walked away a little bit surprised. And I think, and now granted, my time period and your time period are two totally different time periods. You
43.
Huh?
I'm 43.
Okay, see, and I'm 33. So
Okay, yeah.
I think I kind of came into it while it was on the cusp of really starting to change. Yeah.
I think it was great to see the NRA change and evolve and grow, and it's been so important for our entire industry.
Yeah.
So that's been wonderful. I think it would have died otherwise, the way it stayed for a long time. So that's just wonderful to see, and see the NRA embrace, not just, yourself and individuals, but just like technology, the internet, just young things. I hadn't been on the internet till I graduated college.
Really?
So in 97 is when I got on the internet. And I was already had a college degree. So I get for those people, it's a different world. Yeah. But, I don't know. The gun culture, what I've noticed, whether I get into hunting or I'm into cars or like I've been into skateboarding my whole life. I still have a bike. Like if you're not a jackass, people are cool to you. Like I went to school in Paris for a summer, and Paris is like everybody says, everyone's an ass. But like I took my mother on this tour of like all the chateaus around France. Country people are the same everywhere in the world. Yeah. Like everybody's cool for the most part, and I think it's the same way with guns. Like if you learn something, like I've been into precision shooting, long range shooting the last few years. That's kind of been my mission with guns. Uh-huh. And, if you go into it with an open mind, just asking for help and wanting to learn, like everybody is helpful.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exciting for me to see when I go to the gun store and the gun range every weekend. It's jam packed an hour wait. It's wonderful.
Now, the interesting thing about what you said about being a jackass is some people do think I'm a jackass, and others think I'm not. So I don't really know where I'm like on this weird fence line of some sorts. But we're gonna.
You probably don't get it any more than I do, but I also don't know too many people that change the world or are very successful that aren't jackasses after time. So
that's funny. I had a mentor that once told me that when I was clerking as a lowly law clerk. So.
I've been through enough lawsuits to not like attorneys too, but I get it. But I don't know. It's so funny because you see, like, I know what I want to do in our industry, and it doesn't match everyone else. And yeah, I'm a bit of an ass, but people with every time they see you or I be an ass, whether it's publicly or in an interview, whatever it is, like they don't see, the 10 times a week somebody ask you for money or they want a favor or they need something. Yeah. And, over time, I don't know, I just read it. And, I tried really hard with Remington and with Freedom Group. They threw me out with us because they didn't want to pay me $10 million. I mean, that's everybody free to order.
I wouldn't want to pay you $10 million either.
Well, if I was making you $20 million a year, you probably would.
Well, no, I meant that from the standpoint I just don't have it.
Yeah. but there, I gave it my all at Remington, and we were making double the margin, double the sales. We were kicking ass. And, you get a bunch of people that aren't like me that, you get some executive from Home Depot or Black & Decker thinks he knows everything. Like this is my passion, and I love it. And I gave it my all at Remington, and it just wasn't a good fit. And I learned a lesson. I moved on, and I did it again at SIG. We built a military group. If it weren't for Robbie Johnson, who I took, to SIG, they wouldn't have just won that $600 million contract.
Yeah.
Robbie Johnson and Caitlin McGrill are the two reasons that SIG is cashing that check. And he's the VP at Q now. Like I like to win. I like that more than I like making friends. And I tried hard at SIG too. And, what I want to do and my commitment, I think, to being the best and not making excuses, it's just not a good fit for big companies.
Gotcha.
And so I tried twice, and now I got my own company again, and I'm very happy.
So with Q, actually, I just realized, let's take a quick break, and I want to come back. I want to talk about Q some more.
All right.
Okay.